No one showed up for the Paralyzed CEO's birthday. Then, a single dad shocked everyone. A chandelier cast golden light across the grand ballroom, as a three-tier birthday cake waited untouched in the center of the room. Every chair was perfectly arranged. Every glass had been polished. Every invitation had been accepted. Yet, as the clock struck 7, not a single guest walked through the doors. The woman sitting quietly in her wheelchair stared at the empty tables, fighting back tears. She wasn't just one of the country's most successful CEOs. She was also a woman whose life had changed forever, after a tragic accident left her paralyzed. On the one night she hoped to feel remembered instead of pitied, everyone abandoned her. But just when she believed the evening was over, the ballroom doors slowly opened, and a single father, carrying an old backpack and holding his little daughter's hand, stepped inside. What happened next would change every life in that room forever. Before we continue, if you believe kindness is more powerful than money, status, or success, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who believes in second chances, and subscribe to Beyond Kindness. Every small act of support helps us share more heart-touching stories that remind the world compassion still exists. Emma Lawson had built one of the largest technology companies in the country before turning 40. Newspapers called her unstoppable. Investors admired her fearless decisions. Employees respected her honesty. Then, one rainy evening, everything changed. A truck lost control on a slippery highway, crashing into her car. She survived, but the injury to her spine left her unable to walk. Overnight, the fearless CEO became dependent on a wheelchair. The physical pain slowly healed, but the loneliness that followed was far worse. Friends became distant. Business partners became formal. Some people only saw her disability, instead of the determined woman she had always been. Still, Emma refused to give up. She returned to work, leading meetings with confidence, even when every movement caused discomfort. She inspired thousands by proving leadership had nothing to do with standing on 2 feet. Yet birthdays were different. They reminded her of family members she had lost, friendships that had faded, and the simple happiness she once enjoyed before the accident. Her assistant spent weeks organizing an elegant birthday celebration. Hundreds of invitations were sent to executives, politicians, celebrities and stars, and old friends. Every one of them confirmed they would attend. Emma secretly hoped that perhaps this year would feel different. But hours before the party, excuses began arriving one after another. A business emergency, a delayed flight, a family commitment, traffic, illness. Some didn't even bother to explain. By evening, every guest had canceled. Emma sat quietly beside the untouched cake, staring at the rows of empty chairs. The silence inside the luxurious ballroom was louder than any crowd she had ever faced. For the first time in years, she wondered if people had admired her success, but never truly cared about her as a person. Across town, Daniel Carter had just finished another exhausting day, delivering packages. Since losing his wife to cancer 4 years earlier, he had raised his 12-year-old daughter Lily alone. Every day was a balancing act between earning enough money and being present for the little girl who depended entirely on him. Life was difficult, but Daniel never allowed hardship to take away his kindness. While making his final delivery at the hotel hosting Emma's party, Daniel noticed employees quietly clearing untouched food from tables. Curious, he learned that the celebration had been canceled because nobody had come. He looked toward the lonely woman sitting beside the enormous birthday cake. Oh, something about the sadness in her eyes reminded him of the nights his daughter cried herself to sleep after losing her mother. Without thinking twice, Daniel asked the hotel manager whether guests were still allowed inside. The manager hesitated before nodding. Daniel walked back outside, picked up Lily from the delivery van, and together they entered the silent ballroom. Emma looked up in surprise as the father and daughter slowly approached. They weren't dressed in expensive suits. Daniel still wore his delivery uniform, and Lily held a small paper gift wrapped with colorful markers instead of expensive ribbon. Daniel explained that birthdays should never be spent alone. He admitted they hadn't been invited. Armin hesitated, but they couldn't bear the thought of someone celebrating without a single person beside them. Lily stepped forward shyly and handed Emma the handmade card she had drawn during her school lunch break. Inside was a picture of 3 people smiling around a birthday cake beneath bright sunshine. Written in careful handwriting were simple words: "Nobody deserves to feel forgotten." Emma felt tears filling her eyes before she even finished reading. For the first time that evening, she smiled. The hotel staff, watching from a distance, quietly gathered around. One chef brought fresh coffee. Another employee relit the birthday candles. A pianist who had packed away his music returned to the piano and softly began playing "Happy Birthday." Within minutes, the empty ballroom no longer felt empty. The workers who had spent all day preparing the event decided to stay after their shifts. Security guards joined them. Housekeepers stopped cleaning long enough to clap and sing. Waiters filled plates that had been waiting untouched for hours. Emma looked around in disbelief. The people she had expected to impress had abandoned her. The people she had never noticed had become her family for the evening. As everyone shared dinner together, Daniel spoke.